I was always under the impression that Hong Kong only had one theme park, Hong Kong Disneyland. That was until I saw a Theme Park Worldwide video a few years ago where they visited another equally impressive theme park. And the theme park enthusiasts in my family, myself included, became somewhat fascinated with this strange, eccentric, and entirely unique theme park. Ocean Park is located in Happy Valley, which is a short distance away from the main city area, and about an hour or so away from Hong Kong Disneyland. What makes this park so unique? Well, it's a combination of a theme park, water park, and zoo. As well as having a number of rides and attractions, Ocean Park also features aquariums and other animal enclosures, including pandas. Hey, Mr. YumYum, that's not very interesting. There's plenty of theme park, zoo, water park hybrids around the world. Yes, viewer, you're correct. There are lots of theme parks around the world that fit a similar description. However, none of them compare to Ocean Park, because half of Ocean Park is at the bottom of a huge seaside mountain, and the other half is at the top of the mountain. Ocean Park covers an enormous section of land, and when you Google Ocean Park, it says Ocean Park is a neighborhood. How is it feasible to have a theme park that's split from the bottom of a huge mountain and the top of a huge mountain? Ocean Park is basically two theme parks clunked together in this insane landscape that you'd have to be a lunatic or a genius to build something here. And I'm not quite sure what Ocean Park is. Is it a lunatic park? Is it a genius park? Or is it a mixture of both? Let's share my experience at Ocean Park in Hong Kong. Hello everyone, welcome back to Mr. YumYum's Trip Report, sharing my adventures and travels to exciting destinations and events with you. We arrived early in the morning for park opening. We took a taxi to get from Hong Kong Disneyland to Ocean Park, which took about an hour's drive. The entrance to the park is very unique and interesting. There's lots of cool flower displays and statues and things, and it's got a very unique atmosphere. It's very difficult to describe how Ocean Park actually feels. That's probably one of the biggest challenges of making theme park videos, trying to describe the feeling that you get from being at a place. It's easy to kind of get a handle on it from looking at video clips or photos, but until you're actually there, it's very hard to fully understand what a place feels like, to pick up on the vibe. And the vibe of Ocean Park is quirky. Starting off our day, we had breakfast. There's a selection of places to choose from here, but we went for this cafe. This was quite nice. It was nice to have some coffee again, because at Hong Kong Disneyland, coffee is a rarity. You can only get it at Starbucks and this little cafe at the front of the park, so I was grateful for the caffeine boost. The food was very nice, and I was impressed with the lower prices at Ocean Park. The food at Hong Kong Disneyland, for contrast, is very expensive, and I found the prices here to be quite reasonable, so I was able to enjoy a few more options than I usually would have for breakfast when I was visiting Disney. It was very, very hot here. I wasn't quite prepared for that, and at this time of day, the sun is really searing down, and there's not a lot of shade to get out of the sunlight, so make sure you bring sunscreen or a hat. Suddenly we heard some very jolly music from nearby, and some costume characters came out, and it was very wholesome and cute. It drew a little crowd, which was nice to see. Ocean Park also had this little band that was playing some songs, and the musicians were very energetic and excited. And throughout the day, these musicians just seemed to teleport somehow around the park. I kept encountering them somehow at the bottom of the park, at the top of the park. Wherever I went, these musicians were there playing their jolly music, and I was hypnotized. I can still hear it now. It's ingrained in my head somehow. There must be some subliminal Ocean Park messaging. After breakfast, we really wanted to see the pandas, and apparently lots of other people did as well, because it was very busy here, and it was pretty amazing to see pandas in person as well. I don't think I've ever seen pandas in real life before, so this was very exciting, and although it was nice to see them, I did feel a little bit sad watching them sort of walking around in circles and looking a little bit bored, but I guess at least they get food and looked after. There's lots of animals to look at around the area, and the enclosures are all very nice and well kept. Again, it's very hard to describe the atmosphere of this park. It's got such a unique, quirky charm that feels somewhat outdated which also lends it a kind of warmth, if that's the way to describe it. If I had to describe it to any park I've been to, it would be a sort of a mixture between somewhere like Luna Park Melbourne and Dreamworld in Australia. And it's a bit of a hike to get around the park, given that it's sort of built around this mountainous area. There's lots of going up and down slopes, and when you're not climbing the mountain itself, you're going up flights of stairs to get to the enclosures and attractions and things. I was surprised by how much there was to actually do in this area of the park. I definitely expected it to be a bit smaller. I kind of thought that maybe there would be one or two things to do at this end of the park, and then you'd go up to the top and there might be a couple of rides or something, but you could easily spend a whole day down on the first half of Ocean Park. But we only had one day to visit the park, so we had to compromise and get to the top of the park, which was the main event. But we have to walk all the way up the mountain to get to the theme park rides at the top. Well, yes, that is an option, but there's a number of ways to get up and down the mountain at Ocean Park. For braver visitors, there's a gondola which takes you right up the side of the mountain, or if you're not feeling so brave and you're afraid of heights, you can also take a highly immersive Jules Verne steampunk inspired tram that goes inside the mountain itself and climbs up to the very top. So we took a moment to decide on our means of transport to get to the top of Ocean Park, and we reached a 50-50 split. Half of us wanted to take the gondolas and the other half wanted to take the Jules Verne steampunk train experience. So we split up, and Theme Park Ogre and myself made our way to the gondolas, and you can find this in an incredible recreation of Old Town Hong Kong. This area is beautiful, and again, you could easily spend a long time here just looking around, and we did plan to come back later, but in the meantime we just passed through this Old Town Hong Kong area, which was again incredible. I was really blown away by the theming here. There was quite a crowd by the time we arrived at the gondola. It looked like it was about a 60-minute wait or something, which I was wondering how much of the mountain you could actually climb up during that time. Luckily, however, Theme Park Ogre had bought some fast passes for our visit, so we skipped the line and got straight to the front and hopped on the gondola. As someone who's generally a bit of a scaredy cat and a wimp and shies away from thrill rides and scary attractions, you'd expect this to be terrifying for me. I mean, you're dangling on a tiny rope, being dragged up the side of a mountain with nothing below you to protect you except a plunge into the ocean below. But ironically, this is one attraction that I wasn't intimidated at all by. I was very excited to take the gondola, and it did not disappoint. You got some incredible views going up the side of the mountain, of the ocean, the islands, and as you approach the top of Ocean Park, Hairraiser, the iconic B&M roller coaster, which is probably one of the most unique spots for a roller coaster in the world. And this was something I was nervous to ride. The whole trip took about 6 or 7 minutes. Once we arrived at the top, once again, there was a whole new atmosphere which is impossible to describe. I cannot explain how strange this place is. It's very impressive. It's very cool. I love it a lot and I think it's amazing, but it's very weird. I think we came at a strange time. We visited in 2023 in post-COVID times, and it seemed like Ocean Park had unfortunately had a lot of closures and budget cuts because a huge portion of this area of the park is now closed down. A lot of the attractions are standing but not operating. There's an amazing looking roller coaster that you can still see that's just sitting there and doesn't run at all, and a log flume and crazy looking drop tower. So it's got this sort of abandoned feeling. It's a little bit run down. It kind of feels like it's just hanging in there, unfortunately. And then I think it's just the sheer uniqueness of having a theme park in a location like this at the top of a big mountain by the ocean, which you can only get to by literally hiking or taking two arguably scary forms of transport. Another thing that's really hard to explain that contributes to the vibe of different places you visit is the smell. I think subconsciously the smell plays a huge factor into our perception of our experiences. For instance, Hong Kong Disneyland is full of incredible smell pods and lovely herbal scents and comforting aromas. It's very poetic. What does Ocean Park smell like, if you had to guess? The ocean? The scent of trees in the breeze? The clean, fresh air amongst the clouds? Pasta sauce. Ocean Park reeks of pasta sauce. I don't know why. I don't know how. But when I think of Ocean Park, that's all that comes to mind. Pasta sauce. I didn't see a single piece of pasta in sight, a tub of pasta sauce anywhere, and yet the whole place stunk of it. Why, Ocean Park, do you smell this way? But let's not spend the whole video trying to decipher the enigma of Ocean Park's aromas. Let's explore some of the attractions and rides. First and foremost, Hair Raiser. This is a bit of a bucket list coaster. I had to tear my scaredy cat pants off and place them to one side and just commit to riding this coaster. And it's a good thing I did, because we only got to have one ride on Hair Raiser, because after our ride, it mysteriously closed due to technical issues and never reopened again. Is it a coincidence that it closed after I rode it? Is it something I did? Did I upset Hair Raiser? I'm not sure. I don't think so, because the big happy face was still grinning. So how was Hair Raiser? Well, in keeping with Ocean Park, it was an interesting experience. The coaster itself, pretty incredible, amazing, not as intense or scary as I thought it would be. I found it to be quite smooth and pleasant, which is interesting because Theme Park Ogre said he found it to be quite bumpy and rough. Obviously you get some incredible views, and climbing up the lift hill and reaching the top and looking out on Ocean Park and the water below is amazing. It's one of those top 10 coaster experience moments. I'm not sure I can fully describe the sensation of going through a loop and looking up, which is down, and seeing the ocean down below you or above you. Very confusing, but amazing. Some nice little moments throughout the ride. My favorite is this little bunny hop hill towards the end, which gives you a little pop of ejector airtime. Very cool ride. I'm very glad that I sucked it up and went on this. And I'm also grateful for Theme Park Ogre taking me along using his fast passes, because the operations were pretty slow and the queue itself is weird. It's a very weird queue. Just kind of like one of those backroom videos on YouTube. It feels like it shouldn't exist. It's a liminal in-between space, the kind of space you'd only encounter in a dream. And it's a little bit confusing. The operations are, as I said, very slow, and it's kind of a mishmash of people just going in whichever row they feel like, and it gets pretty confusing and it takes a long time. It took quite a while to get started. It took maybe like 5 or 6 minutes, I think, until we actually left the station. It was pretty upsetting that we didn't get to get a second ride on Hair Raiser during our visit to Ocean Park. Definitely one of the most memorable experiences I've had on a ride. I'm a big fan, and hopefully one day I can get back to Ocean Park and re-ride it if it's still there. It was quite busy in this area of the park. I'm not sure if it was the school holidays or something during our visit to Hong Kong, but there were lots of families up here. The queue times for the attractions were very long, and we sort of had to look ahead, so we made a reservation at one of the restaurants up here, which seemed interesting. We didn't really know what we were getting into, but this was a penguin-themed restaurant. You can't see what it's like inside until you actually get in, but we made a reservation anyway, and we had about maybe 40 minutes or 60 minutes or something to kill, so we went on one of the other attractions up here, this powered coaster, which is themed to the Arctic, and this was a blast. This was really fun. Again, luckily we had the fast passes, so we didn't have to wait a huge length of time to get on this ride. I thought it was a great family attraction. The ride length is really good. It went on for quite a while. I think you took about 3 laps around the course. You get some really nice views, and definitely recommend checking this one out. After that, the mascots and musicians magically appeared again. They drew a huge crowd. Everyone seems to be a big fan of this shark character. And then it was time to enjoy some lunch, so we went into the restaurant and we were very surprised. It was an immersive themed dining experience with a window looking into a penguin enclosure. I didn't expect that. I thought that was a big surprise. It was very busy. Again, in keeping with the Ocean Park experience, very unique, weird, eccentric, quirky, lovable vibes. This place is weird, really, really strange, but cool as well at the same time. Literally, it was nice and cool in here. Very refreshing after being out in the baking hot sun. The food options here are penguin themed. You can get some nice icy cold fish and ice cold water and ice cream. No, just kidding. You can get pizza, and you can also get some pasta. So I think we found the mystery of Ocean Park's smells. It's from this penguin restaurant. They're cooking up tubs full of pasta sauce, and it's permeating the whole theme park. For lunch, I had some salmon and some fruit salad and a blue drink, and it was all quite tasty and pleasant. It was a little bit pricier, given that it was a sit-down dining experience. Is it worth checking out? I think so, maybe for the novelty of the whole experience. I mean, where else in the world can you sit in a penguin-themed immersive dining experience on top of a huge mountain that smells like pasta sauce? I'm not aware of any other places in the world like that, so I would recommend visiting. But do keep in mind the wait time to actually get inside here, and if you're only visiting for a short time, it's sort of diminishing returns. You might be better off finding some quick food options somewhere else. After lunch, we decided to take some time to look at the animals, and there's a really cool animal area where you can see the penguins, you can see snow foxes and seals, and the big boy walrus. This guy, or gal, I don't know, was impressive. Very magnificent creature, gliding through the water, somehow gracefully and grotesque at the same time. There's lots of viewing areas where you can stand beneath the water and look up, and the big boy will come right past you, and you make a little eye contact with him. It's a very beautiful moment, beautiful connection between mankind and walrus kind. Big fan of the seals. I love seals. Very cool creatures. The dogs of the ocean is what I like to call them. Ocean man's best friend. Aquaman's best friend. Very impressive enclosures. It's hard to believe that you're on top of a big mountain when you're up here. It feels like you've been transported away. Very, very cool, temperature-wise and stylistically. Big fan, and definitely worth checking out. They've got a big operation going on up here at Ocean Park. There's all kinds of shops and merchandise to buy. I don't quite understand how it's all running, and the fact that this is a scaled down version of what it used to be with the attractions and things that closed after COVID. Next, we had a look at this South American themed area with Amazon animals, the real Amazon, not the company that delivers stuff really fast to you. Lots of cool creatures here, big old snakes, lizards and birds and things. This was very nicely themed, and I really liked how it was integrated into the park. Lots of bridges and walkways between areas, and it's almost like you're inside some big trees and things. It's very cool, and you get some amazing views of the park as well from up here. There's also a river rapids ride up here, which was a lot of fun. We used the fast passes, skipped the big queue, which was a very long wait to get on this, and had a lot of fun. It was very enjoyable. Some great theming, and luckily we didn't get too wet. We started having a look around, and that's when I really got a full sense of the scale of the place, because as I briefly touched upon, there is a whole nother area with a lot of closed attractions, and there's stuff to do there. You can see sharks and other animals and things. There are lots of inclines and slopes to walk up and down. Also, we were just running out of time, so we didn't go down that part of Ocean Park. The next attraction we went on was the observation tower, which is the first time I've been on anything like this, and I thought this was really cool. I think they should have one of these at every park, or most parks. It's a really cool way to see an overview of all the attractions and the landscape surrounding the park. The whole experience lasts about maybe 4 or 5 minutes, and you sort of pause up at the top for a moment or two to look around and appreciate the views. The windows are kind of foggy and hazed up and all scratched over, so don't expect to get crystal clear images of Ocean Park, but it is cool nonetheless. After that, it was time for a little break and a sit down, and the sun was starting to set, so we enjoyed the views from the top of Ocean Park while the smell of pasta sauce wafted through our noses. And this is an incredible view. This alone would be worth the ticket price just to experience this. It's one of those images that just burns into your mind, and I can still see the sun setting in my brain. It was very beautiful and very impressive. After that, it was time to head back down to the bottom area of the park, and although I would have happily ridden the gondolas again, I was also intrigued to experience the other transport option, which was the immersive Jules Verne train tram thing, which was very intriguing and very interesting. It also seemed to be the most popular choice of transport. I guess hiking up and down the mountain is not an ideal way of getting around, so this was very busy. I'm not sure I can say I fully enjoyed the experience, although the theming and overall novelty was very impressive. You sort of get packed into onto the tram like a sardine, and it's too claustrophobic, it's too tight, there's too many people, and not a pleasant experience for me as a guy who likes his personal space. It was too many people packed together at once, and I tried to keep my mind clear by just focusing on the scenery on the ceiling as we went through the center of the earth, and the train was pushing through molten rocks and lava. Nice relaxing imagery to calm you down. Definitely a unique experience. I feel like if you can get on this attraction or transport when it's not so busy, you might be able to enjoy it. I would certainly love to re-experience it, hopefully without being crammed together like that. By the time we got to the bottom, the park was starting to get dark, and we only had a little bit of time left before the nighttime show. And we also wanted to have a look at the Old Town Hong Kong area, which was very impressive at nighttime. This is a golden opportunity to film some really cool clips. This is an amazing spot, and the theming here is so impressive. The attention to detail is incredible. There's some very quirky, weird stuff in keeping with Ocean Park, some like AI art shop or something, and a lot of attractions and things I didn't quite understand what they were. Lots of food to eat down here as well. Lots of traditional Hong Kong style food. It was a really cool opportunity to kind of get an insight into the history of Hong Kong and the culture and the blend of different influences. Very interesting, very cool. I'd love to come back here. After that, we literally had like 20 or 30 minutes or something until the nighttime show started, so while half of our group found a spot to watch the show from, Theme Park Ogre and I decided to go for the world record speedrun through this enormous aquarium, an amazing building. We got through it in about 10 or 15 minutes. We may take the world championship title of speedrunning this aquarium. Is it the ideal way to experience the aquarium? Maybe not. Is it cool? Hell yeah. And then it was time for the nighttime show. This show is very impressive. It uses a lot of projection mapping onto the side of the aquarium. I think the show was split into two parts. One was kind of a compilation highlight thing of like what makes Hong Kong so unique, which was really interesting. You definitely get a sense of what makes it special through this experience. The other show was a little different. I'm not quite sure what it was themed to. It was, I think the aquarium became some kind of cute monster, sea monster type thing, and was all about each aspect of nature. So like Avatar, The Last Airbender, earth, fire, water, air. It had it all. It had everything. It was very cool. And the projection mapping I thought was done very well. Again, this is one of the things I would say is worth visiting the park just for, if you can. Very unique and interesting. After that, it was time to leave the park. We didn't get a chance to eat dinner at Ocean Park in the end, but I felt like I had. I had the scent and aftertaste of pasta sauce, which still haunts me to this day. If I ever get hungry, I just think of Ocean Park, and I remember what it feels like to have the smell of pasta sauce so pungent that you don't want to eat anything. So, what did I think of Ocean Park? If I had to describe it in 3 words: cool, unique, weird. Those are the 3 words I would use to describe Ocean Park. When you take something cool, when you take something unique, and you make it weird, you create something beautiful, and that's something worth experiencing. Did I like Ocean Park? I did. I thought it was very unique and quirky and charming. Did I love Ocean Park? I'm not sure I would go that far. The vibes are strange, and it's not the kind of vibe you go looking for every single day of your life. You need to be in a very particular pasta sauce-based headspace to seek this kind of experience out. Maybe one day down the line I will be again. No, but in all seriousness, there's certainly things I'd love to re-experience at Ocean Park, and I think that the park has a lot to offer. There's definitely some really impressive aspects that make it shine. The highlights for me would have to be Hair Razor, that gondola, and the Old Town Hong Kong area. Those 3 parts of Ocean Park I think are really incredibly impressive, and you should definitely experience those if you can. Thank you for watching this episode of Mr. YumYum's Trip Report. If you enjoyed, please feel free to leave a like, a friendly comment, or subscribe for more. And stay tuned, because there's lots more Trip Report style videos coming up down the pipeline, including another visit to Hong Kong Disney in 2024 during the Halloween season, which is very cool, as well as the Japan mega trip. And for the Australians, I've also got some Melbourneian themed content in the brewing machine, whatever that is. is. It's currently in the works, and that should be out soon. Thank you so much again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. A big thank you to the members and sponsors of Team YumYum for supporting my content. Thank you to the Team YumYum members, Randall, Maloney's Coasters, Kai on the Internet, Oogie Boogie, Theme Park, Ogre, Jordan Casey, Johnny Boy 175, The Downy Cat, Mika, Carrie Jekin, Smath Mode the Awesome, Movies Like Everyone, and Aston. And a very special thank you to the sponsors, Koala75, Audrey Allen, Senpai's JP Blue Dog, Senpai's JP Red Dog, Wayne Hewitt, Lee Donald, SWStevie1, The Kez, and Mr. WG. Thank you so much again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.